Welcome to day 264 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of May 2016, which was Captain America Civil War.
You sound so excited.
Well, it's a downer movie, so.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a pretty sad movie in terms of like Marvel movies in
yeah.
general.
Well, if anything, like that's probably what I give it like the most credit for is that it like didn't just like kind of actually everything's cool now and it's all happy and it's like oh no this like kind of permanently like ends on a downer and like kind of fucks everything up.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
okay, I'm now interested to see where this goes from here. 'Cause, let's see. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, because I'm thinking of the next Marvel movie. So okay, Doctor Strange. Well, that's its own thing.
Mm.
And then next is, I think Guardians 2?
Spider-Man
Um,
comes up too.
Right, well that's after. So okay, Guardians 2 would be its own thing. Spider-Man I think is pretty much its own thing.
Mm.
And then and then it's Thor Ragnarok, which Thor wasn't in this movie, so maybe that kind of makes sense for that. So
Yeah.
that's probably its own thing. And then Black Panther is its own thing. And
Yep.
then we have Infinity War. So, does this like never actually get like interesting. I guess everyone kind of does their own thing until Infinity War. That's actually kind of interesting to think about. Okay. I wonder how like I assume Infinity War will like kind of start probably with kind of how this left off, but
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, so when this first came out, I heard like a lot of buzz about it. I didn't.
I did.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it of course, but like I'd heard a lot of people saying they really liked this, like a lot, right? And some people saying this was like their favorite MCU movie. But more recently, I remember seeing some topics about how like so a lot of people like didn't really like this.
Mm.
It wasn't like quite to the degree of like Iron Man 2 or like Thor Dark World or something where people are like, oh, it's the worst one, but like it was lower down, and so I don't really know why though, so I don't really know the reasons for that. So I knew that kind of coming into this that was kind of how I remembered people reacting to it, so I was kind of coming at this from like I don't know, hearing both sides in a sense. I wasn't totally sure what to think.
Mm.
I haven't actually heard about that part. I didn't know that there were people who didn't like it that much.
Yeah, so again, maybe it's just I happened to find the one group that was kind of mad, but yeah, I kind of again, it's interesting because like
It's very different, but I don't know how I feel about it.
yeah, okay, well I like it. I'm just trying to think of exactly how much do I like it,
Mm.
Right.
and okay, so the whole core of this movie is this sort of ideology conflict between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, something I meant to point out for this, so I'm glad I didn't forget. The like older like general kind of guy in this, he was in the Hulk movie.
Oh.
Oh, really?
So he was actually the main, I guess. Well, I don't know if you say main antagonist, but at least like the guy who was basically like, we gotta get the Hulk under control and stop it or whatever. And so here it's kind of an extension of that, because in that movie he was very much like, I just don't. There's this Hulk dude who's like crazy and like can fuck shit up and like no one can control him. So we need to like control that and deal with it, right? And so here it's kind of extension where now he's like, here's these Avengers dudes who fuck this shit up and we can't control them, right? It's the same kind of idea, right?
Right.
So it's because what I liked about him in the Incredible Hulk movie was that he was principled, right? He was the antagonist, but it was for very like understandable reasons, and he's like, I think
Yeah.
this, therefore blah. And so it's like that's a continuation here. So
Yeah.
I like that angle of it. Although then in this he doesn't do a ton, so but I just thought that was interesting that they brought him, because I was looking, I'm like, wait, it was he, and then I looked up, and oh, he was. Okay, so yeah, so that was interesting. But in terms of the core idea for this, I really like the idea of like, especially kind of with Tony Stark, but also just in general, where he basically realizes that he's dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like that sort of realization and like that sort of, because that takes a lot of strength to admit that like you need to be controlled,
Yeah.
right? So I really like the idea. I don't know what it was, but for some reason I feel like just one thing was missing to where like especially like for example when they got to like start fighting at the airport, which is a really cool fight scene. There's a lot of fun with that, but like right getting to that in terms of the actual very specific reason for why they're fighting and all that, I just feel like I'm missing like one tiny thing where I'm just like I don't 100% buy it and I don't know what I'm missing. It's like there's one tiny detail that's just I don't get and it's like bothering me, but I don't know what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's the reason that I don't know how I want to feel about it, because I remember a lot of people like being like, "Oh, it's a very good film," and they would ask people like, "Are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man and everything?" And I guess the thing is that you kind of understand both sides of it, but that you don't really understand why a fight had to happen. Because
Right. Yeah. Again, I understand both sides and the point, but it's like I feel like there's it
Was
felt
there maybe too much personal baggage going into it? Because
Yes.
in the end, that's what it boiled down to.
not even just personal baggage. It's like I think the scene that got me was when like Black Widow and Hawkeye were fighting against each other,
Mhm.
and Black Widow was like, "We're still pals, right?" And it was just like, "Wait, yeah, what was the thing that made you guys even start in
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
place?"
Yeah, because it's like, okay, here's the thing. It's called Civil War. It's a superhero movie. You kind of have to have them fighting each other.
Yeah,
Right? So I feel like just by the idea of this movie, that scene has to happen. But yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't quite feel organic to get there.
yeah.
It's very close, but to me, I just don't quite get it. And I think that is probably like the biggest, I guess for me, issue with the movie, and that's kind of like in quotes because again, it's not by itself, it's not really like a big problem. And again, there's a lot of stuff around it that's really solid. And overall, I do like the film a good amount. But I feel like if there was something where I really felt like that I was really in this, I completely understood where everyone was and why they were doing what they were doing, I completely got all that, this could have been like really good. And it just wasn't quite there for me. So that's kind of my outlook. That said,
The end fight scene between like Captain and Iron Man was really good though.
Oh yeah, that was, and again, that's kind of leads to the point where I was saying with the ending, because I thought, I was waiting for them to be like, oh, actually, we realized something and we actually like each other or whatever. I was waiting for that to happen, but while it was like waiting for that to happen, I was like, it kind of doesn't make sense that they would make up after that right now, and then they don't, and I'm like, oh, okay, that solves that problem. I mean, it's a bummer, but it solves that problem, right? So, yeah, and then so then the characters introduced here, you have Black Panther and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Did you know that they were introduced in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I didn't realize how big of a role Black Panther had in this movie.
Yeah, I
so
didn't realize.
Yeah, same.
I was pleasantly surprised because I was always like, I want to watch like his solo movie, but I never got to. And now like seeing his actual character, I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, for at least him, there's not like a huge amount that you can kind of get from his like personality or whatever, but I do like, he's very committed to like, what he thinks is right in kind of a way, and
Yeah.
he's good for what he's good, but there's just again, you kind of feel like, okay, he's good, but now I want a solo movie on him, and we'll get that.
Wish granted.
Yeah, so okay, fine. And then Spider-Man, so interesting for him is to kind of compare to, of course, we've seen the mid-2000s Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And for that, Peter Parker is, like, older, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
this guy, he's, like, 15 or something, right?
A child,
Yeah.
basically.
So it's interesting comparing that and, like, seeing the difference and also the similarities between them. And so, again, I kind of feel like I just need to see him a little bit more just to kind of really get into, like, do I like it better like this versus the previous one, right? So because at least for me, I'm not huge into Spider-Man, but the stuff that I did know was basically from those other movies, and then also I've seen playthroughs of like that Spider-Man game from last year, where it's an older, like 20s, older Peter Parker. So that's at least what I'm more familiar with. So I'd be curious to kind of see where this goes from it. And he seems like, again, fun kid, and the personality works well. And from what little I do know, I know that in Homecoming, there is kind of a thing with like him and Tony Stark, where Tony Stark is kind of like mentoring him, kind of. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of want to see more of that, because I liked their interaction together, and I want to see more of that.
It also, I think, with their interaction, it shows how Tony is growing. I
Yeah.
think, too.
I think it seems like it was an extension of like Iron Man 3 with the other kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he started the whole like being a, I guess, big brother figure. I can't say father figure because I don't really think he's a fatherly type, but I guess
Yeah.
big brother figure.
Yeah.
Or
to
kind of,
someone.
or like I see him as kind of like an uncle.
Yeah. Like no responsibility of the dad, just older figure guiding younger child.
Who occasionally gets said child into trouble.
Yeah.
Who also hits on their ad.
So perfect. Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect uncle.
Yeah, but
Even has the uncle beard.
It's true.
it does make me also wonder, because I presume then from like what I know with, again, how Peter Parker and Tony Stark interact in Homecoming, that like then therefore that means they don't have like a Spider-Man origin story, right?
Yeah.
Because that would have
Right.
happened before this, and so
Right. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad for that, because we feel like we kind of
It's been
seen that
kinda
before.
done to
Yeah,
death anyway.
yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, and that's actually what I liked about the Hulk movie as well, where it was like it wasn't basically it was like the actual origin of the Hulk is like a very brief flashback in like the beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like right after that and what happens from it. So it's a little bit a different thing from that. So I kind of like that, and it's not just like, oh, let's watch 10 different superhero origin stories,
Yeah.
because a lot of them are, at the core, very, very similar.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's some
only
dude.
so much pain and suffering you can sit through.
Yeah, well, mostly it's like here's some dude and he's doing his thing and he's just kind of in a life that's whatever, and maybe he usually has some like accident or some problem that either gives him powers or it messes him up, and therefore he ends up seeking out something which ends up giving him powers, and mayhem ensues. So it's kind of the same kind of story. So
Yeah, oh my god, even Deadpool did that for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like that doesn't necessarily mean that story's bad, right? Like the first Iron Man does that really well, for example. But like
Yeah.
it's we've seen it a lot, so
Yeah.
it's kind of nice that works there. But yeah, for this movie, yeah, I'm thinking right now, this is like kind of what I would consider like what's the word?
Can you describe it and I can like throw you a word?
Like the I guess like the gold standard is kind of what I'm thinking of, or in terms of like this is a good MCU movie, right?
Oh, okay.
There's ones
Yeah.
that are better, there's ones that are worse, but this is like solid good. There's really no singular thing that's like really wrong. There's no singular thing I would say that's like really great, though the airport fight scene is pretty great. But besides that, like so, it's kind of that, like, this is my benchmark, where it's like, this is kind of right in the middle, I think, right now, for how I think about
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think Winter Soldier is probably my favorite
Yeah.
one.
yeah. I think I put this one, yeah, I have it below, like, the first Iron Man, and, above, I put it above Ultron,
Mm.
and I think I put it. Well, I'm also doing like a separate little MCU film thingy because I'm watching all the other MCU films on my own time as well. And I did put it like, for that I put it above Incredible Hulk and below Iron Man. So that's kind of my
Okay.
ranking for it. So again, kind of just good, but like
Actually,
not amazing.
speaking of your MCU movie
Mhm.
count thing, Ant-Man appears in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone is underwhelmed.
Well, okay, so did I talk about how I saw the Ant-Man movie?
I don't think so.
Okay, so yeah,
You told us, I think.
Well, yeah. So okay, so yeah, I watched Ant-Man, and I've heard some people really like it. I kind of just came away from it being like, it's fine. Again, that is like a superhero origin story, and I like the idea of like, you know, an older superhero kind of training a younger one, because that's kind of what they at least start with the premise of, but they don't really take that angle quite so much. It still kind of it transforms more into like the old mentor, you know, and the younger guy, where I would have liked it more if the older guy was like, you know, more active and actually like doing the stuff with him or whatever. But, you know, and then the plot itself is like kind of, it's standard, but it's fine.
The villain is forgettable.
Yeah,
it's just it's like a basic bitch movie.
Yeah, and then like I find Scott Lang to be kind of annoying. So
I completely forgot who he was until like I looked it up and I was like, oh wait, he's Ant-Man.
Yeah, I don't like hate him or anything, but like I don't find him that funny. And then what was the other thing? Oh, I did like the visuals though are pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous for what it is, but like I don't know. I like the scene like near the end when he actually does like, you know, go to like subatomic scale or whatever. They kind of how they show that I think was really cool, but I just kind of wish there was more stuff like that. So yeah, but for this though, what they do with him, because they do something different where they actually make him really big, and it was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a different thing, and you know, I find him actually a little bit not as annoying here, maybe because there's just less of him. But I don't know, I think like what he does and how he like messes with the other people or whatever is more humorous in that sense than just like, I'm a guy who says quote unquote funny things, and you're just like, all right, stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's kind of, so that was I put Ant-Man I think in my ranking for that like third worst. I don't even, again, I don't like, overall I would say it's positive, but like it's kind of just like the sense of, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I think Dark World is more boring and Iron Man 2 is more of a mess. So yeah, but so that's kind of my take on it. But actually looking forward for the MCU stuff, there's only 2 films remaining that we're not seeing.
Oh, which one?
We're
Doctor Strange?
Yeah, we're not seeing Doctor Strange, and we're not seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, for some reason, I thought we were watching Doctor Strange.
Well,
Okay.
nope. It was, I think, November of this year, and a certain prequel movie to a very, very popular and long film series that we saw came out that month.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know. I guess I will. You guys can watch it on your own. I'm going to. So I don't know anything about Doctor Strange at all though. So yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Will that be another just standard origin story? I don't know. I honestly don't even know what people think about it. So I feel like
I haven't heard anything about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
He's not super popular, I don't think,
Well,
compared to the other ones.
we'll see, I guess. Or I will, or at least. I don't know. Whatever. Anything else to talk about for Civil War?
Don't think so.
No, I mean, anything else was good. Not much to comment on.
Yeah, a lot of like the characters and stuff. You know, they're just kind of continuing on from what they've done before.
Yeah.
So, I guess. Oh, okay. The only ones I guess I could really kind of comment on would be like Scarlet Witch and Vision, just because this is only the second time we've seen them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the whole thing with Vision, because I remember for Ultron, we were like, he seems too good.
Yeah.
And so at least here they do show him like, you know, he really fucks something up. Well, more like fuck someone up. But this sentence where he's kind of also torn, like he's with like Tony about how, you know, he kind of maybe realizes the stuff that he can do, and then he's like thinking he needs to be controlled for that. So it's kind of a little interesting kind of twist on that. And also the where he's like, I don't know what this thing is in my head or whatever, right? And I'm just like, again, I think we said this for Ultron. I was like, wait, that's the Infinity Gem, and Thanos like gets it. So,
Uh,
how is that gonna work?
we'll hold off theories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, there's one thing I know about Infinity War in terms of spoilery stuff, and it's a really stupid thing that is completely not my fault that I know it. I of course will be saying what that is once we watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. And I'll tell you how I learned it. It's so stupid. I'm just like I'm annoyed, but I don't even know what to be annoyed at because it's literally not my fault and it's not any one person's fault either. So
Right. Yeah.
What was it?
Well, I can't tell you it now because
Well, no. Like, how did you?
I literally
Were you like reading an article? Or
no,
something?
I literally typed in something on YouTube and then the first suggested search was character name dies Infinity War.
What?
I'm like, okay.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, cool.
Wow. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah, I think what it was is I was literally like looking for like a soundtrack thing to use for like a movie we might have like already seen or something. Or was it? No, it wasn't that. Never mind. I'm thinking of something else. Shit, where was it? I don't remember. It was something. For some reason I typed in I typed in a character's name because I wanted to like find something about them, and then it said that, and I'm like, oh, cool. Now I know. But that's it.
Well, that's just great.
Yeah. Spoilers. It's Batman.
Batman.
Oh my
Batman.
I wonder if we will ever get like a main movie DC Marvel crossover thing.
That would be pretty interesting.
Has that like ever
It's just,
happened? I don't know.
But which studio would make the
Well, right.
Yeah.
I think we'd want Marvel to do it, considering the track record. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be if DC. I mean, considering how DC fucked up Batman and Superman, let alone like you know,
the
Justice
entire Justice
Yeah.
League?
versus entire Avengers or whatever. Yeah, that. Oh god. Well, we can dream? Question mark. Anyway, what's next? Next is another sequel to a movie that we saw like a long time ago, and it's a movie that I believe both of you said you saw and I have not seen.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So it was one of those movies where I kind of didn't want to see it originally just because of what it was what and who it was about, but considering who's made the movie, you know, I highly doubt it's bad. So, and
It will at least be fine.
yeah,
for
you
you.
Yeah.
two seem to like it from what I gathered. So, okay, I guess I'm not like scared.
It's not like Minions.
Oh god. We're gonna don't remind me since we're going to be revisiting that, not quite Minions, but at least that environment kind of soon. So
I grimace at the thought of that.
yeah, well, all right.
Bye.
See, like the movie, we ended on a downer.
Isn't that great?
It all comes full circle. Okay, we're done. Bye.
Bye.